The Lord be with you.
With your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Glory to you, Lord. Jesus appeared to the 11 and said to them, "Go into the world and proclaim the gospel to every creature. Whoever believes and is baptized will be saved. Whoever does not believe will be condemned. This sign will be accompanied those who believe in my name. They will drive out demons. They will speak new languages. They will pick up serpents with their hands. And if they drink and deadly things, it will not harm them. They will lay hands on the sick, and they will recover." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Today we celebrate the conversion of the greatest follower of Jesus, Paul of Tarsus. Beautiful description, the first reading, where he was born in the town of Tarsus. And he was very well educated. Of course, he was a very brilliant man, obviously, from his writings. And he went to the most famous professor of the time, Professor Gamaliel. And he embarked on a very important Jewish following of the Jewish tradition, because the most important thing to the Pharisees, which were the extreme group of Judaism, was the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible. That was it. That's all that was necessary. You follow the Torah, you obey the Torah, and so on, and there was salvation. But not only was the Torah, but was the interpretation of the Torah, of the various laws. And by the time they had finished interpreting the Torah, they had 613 laws. Could you imagine having to obey 613 laws? I have a problem with 10. But that's what it was. Because you see, when it says there was no work on the Sabbath, so now what the next question is, what is work? So they had to define what work was. So that's how the whole thing developed. But then he was very committed, of course, and notice that he gets permission from the bosses to go to Damascus and to pick up the followers of Jesus there and bring them back to Jerusalem to be persecuted. And he's on his way there when that famous incident became known on the road to Damascus, when he encountered Jesus. One of the interesting things about this encounter for me was what Jesus said to Saul at the time. He was called Saul, don't forget. And he said, the voice from heaven said, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" Not why are you persecuting my church, why are you persecuting this or that. Why are you persecuting me? In other words, Jesus identifying himself with his followers, just as he does for us this morning. Why are you persecuting me? So in other words, whenever we persecute people, either physically or verbally, we are persecuting Jesus. He identifies with every person. Of course, after his conversion, he went on to become famous St. Paul. And his journeys are extraordinary. When you consider that this man did not have any public transportation, yet he established Christian communities all over the world of that time. And he was a prolific writer. He wrote all these famous epistles that we listen to every week, and a very high standard. And so, if you think about it, we're very blessed to have somebody like Paul. We're blessed to have his writings to enable us to follow him, an extraordinary human being who suffered all kinds of persecution, shipwreck, beatings, imprisoned, you name it. Paul suffered it all. But he never gave up. He believed in his Lord and served him for the entire rest of his life. a wonderful example for all of us.